10 greatest NBA players of all time. Who's the greatest basketball player to ever step on an NBA court? That question has started more arguments than any other debate in sports history, and we're about to rank the top 10 once and for all. When viewers see this, they're asking, who makes the list? Where does Jordan rank? Did my favorite player get snubbed? Here's the truth. These 10 players didn't just dominate basketball, they changed the game forever, won championships, broke records, and created legacies that will never be forgotten. This isn't just a ranking, this is the definitive top 10 greatest NBA players in history. Number 10, Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. The most skilled scorer of his generation. 5 NBA championships, 2 Finals MVP awards, 18 All-Star selections, 33,643 career points. Kobe's work ethic was legendary. The 4 a.m. workouts, the obsessive film study, the refusal to accept anything less than perfection. He scored 81 points in a single game, the second highest total in NBA history. He dropped 60 points in his final game at age 37. Kobe modeled his entire game after Michael Jordan and became the closest thing to MJ we've ever seen. The footwork, the fadeaways, the killer instinct, it was all pure Jordan. But Kobe wasn't just copying Jordan, he added his own style, his own mentality, his own Mamba approach to greatness. 5 championships with the Lakers, 3-peat from 2000 to 2002 with Shaq, then back-to-back titles in 2009 to 2010, proving he could win without a dominant center. Kobe proved that obsession and dedication can turn talent into greatness. He wasn't the most athletic or the biggest, but nobody worked harder. His legacy is complicated by the early years with Shaq, but winning 2 more championships as the clear alpha erased those questions. But a legendary work ethic is one thing. What if you combine that work ethic with physical dominance that nobody could stop? That's what made our next player so special. Number 9, Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, the most physically dominant player in NBA history. 4 NBA championships, 3 Finals MVP awards, 15 All-Star selections, 28,596 career points. At 7'1" and 325 pounds, Shaq was unstoppable in his prime. Nobody could guard him one-on-one. Teams had to double and triple team him just to slow him down. The Lakers' 3-peat from 2000 to 2002 was pure Shaq domination. He averaged 36.3 points and 12.3 rebounds in the 2000 finals. Absolutely destroyed everything in his path. Then he went to Miami and won another championship with Dwayne Wade in 2006, proving he could still dominate even as his prime ended. Shaq's weakness was free throws. Teams would intentionally foul him late in games because he shot 52.7% from the line, but even that couldn't stop him from winning. The problem with Shaq's legacy is the what ifs. What if he'd stayed in shape? What if he hadn't feuded with Kobe? What if he'd taken basketball as seriously as Kobe did? We got 19 years of Shaq dominating anyway. Imagine if he'd been truly dedicated to greatness the way Kobe was. But pure physical dominance eventually fades. What separates the all-time greats is sustaining excellence for decades. Our next player did exactly that. Number 8, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, the most consistent winner in NBA history. 5 NBA championships, 3 Finals MVP awards, 15 All-Star selections, 26,496 career points, 15,091 rebounds. Duncan won championships in 3 different decades: 1999, 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014. He never had a bad season, never complained, never demanded attention, just showed up, played perfect basketball, and won. Duncan's game wasn't flashy. Bank shots, pick and rolls, fundamental defense. Nothing about it looked impressive on highlights. But winning 5 championships over 19 seasons is more impressive than any highlight reel. The Spurs won 50-plus games for 17 straight seasons with Duncan. That's sustained excellence nobody else has matched. Duncan proved that boring, fundamental basketball wins championships. You don't need to be flashy to be great. His legacy is underrated because he played in San Antonio and never sought attention. But 5 rings and 19 all-defensive selections speak louder than any publicity campaign. Speaking of underrated greatness, our next player revolutionized the point guard position and won championships with a style that made everyone love basketball. Number 7, Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard in NBA history until someone proved otherwise. 5 NBA championships, 3 Finals MVP awards, 3 regular season MVP awards, 12 All-Star selections. At 6'9", Magic revolutionized the point guard position. Nobody that tall had ever run an offense the way he did. The Showtime Lakers of the 1980s were basketball perfection. Fast breaks, no-look passes, championships. Magic orchestrated everything. In his rookie season, he played center in Game 6 of the Finals after Kareem got injured, dropped 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and won Finals MVP as a rookie. Magic's rivalry with Larry Bird saved the NBA. Their college championship game was the highest rated in history. Their NBA battles throughout the 80s made basketball must-watch television. Magic retired early because of an HIV diagnosis in 1991. He was only 31 years old and still in his prime. We lost 5 more years of Magic dominating basketball. That's the tragedy of his career. But even with a shortened career, Magic's impact is undeniable. He made basketball beautiful, entertaining, and globally popular. However, Magic's career ended too soon. Our next player had the opposite problem. His career lasted so long that he piled up records nobody will ever break. Number 6, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the NBA's all-time leading scorer for 39 years until LeBron passed him. 6 NBA championships, 2 Finals MVP awards, 6 regular season MVP awards are the most in NBA history, 19 All-Star selections, 38,387 career points. The record stood from 1984 to 2023, nearly 4 decades of being the most prolific scorer ever. Kareem's skyhook was the most unstoppable shot in basketball history. Nobody could block it. Nobody could defend it. It was automatic. He won championships in Milwaukee and Los Angeles. He dominated for 2 decades from the early 70s through the late 80s. The problem with Kareem's legacy is perception. He played in Magic's shadow during the Showtime era. He wasn't charismatic or media friendly. But 6 championships and 6 MVPs speak louder than personality. Kareem was dominant for 20 years. His longevity is staggering. He played until age 42 and was still effective. That's sustained excellence few players ever achieve. But sustained excellence over 20 years is impressive. What if someone dominated for 20 years and completely changed how the game is played? That's our next legend. Number 5, Wilt Chamberlain, the most statistically dominant player in NBA history. 2 NBA championships, 4 MVP awards, 13 All-Star selections, 31,419 career points, 23,924 rebounds. Wilt scored 100 points in a single game. 100. Nobody will ever do that again. He averaged 50.4 points per game in the 1961-62 season. For an entire season, that's insane. Wilt once averaged 48.5 minutes per game in a season. That's impossible. Games are only 48 minutes long. He played every minute plus overtime. The arguments against Wilt are that he played in a weaker era, he was taller and stronger than everyone, and he only won 2 championships. But those arguments ignore that Wilt was doing things nobody else was doing, even against weaker competition. 100 points, 55 rebounds in a game, 50 points per game for a season. Those records are untouchable. Wilt proved that physical dominance combined with skill creates statistical domination that defies belief. His legacy is complicated by Bill Russell winning more championships, but nobody dominated the stat sheet like Wilt. Speaking of Bill Russell, our next player won more championships than anyone else in NBA history. And yes, we're talking about Russell now. Number 4, Bill Russell. 11 NBA championships in 13 seasons. 11. 5 MVP awards, 12 All-Star selections. The greatest winner in NBA history. Russell played from 1956 to 1969 with the Boston Celtics. He won a championship in 11 of those 13 seasons. 8 consecutive championships from 1959 to 1966. 8 straight years. That will never happen again. Russell wasn't a scorer. He averaged 15.1 points per game for his career, but he changed the game with defense and rebounding. He averaged 22.5 rebounds per game. He made everyone around him better. He turned defense into an art form. The Celtics built a dynasty around Russell's defensive dominance and winning mentality. He was the first African-American coach in NBA history and won 2 championships as a player coach. The argument against Russell is that he played in an era with fewer teams and weaker competition, but winning 11 championships in 13 years transcends any era. Nobody in team sports has ever dominated winning the way Russell did. Not Jordan, not Brady, not anyone. Russell proved that championships matter more than statistics, that winning is the only thing that defines greatness. But winning 11 championships took 13 years. Our final 3 players combined winning with individual dominance that made them legends beyond just rings. Number 3, Larry Bird. Larry Legend. The greatest shooter and trash talker in NBA history. 3 NBA championships, 2 Finals MVP awards, 3 MVP awards, 12 All-Star selections. Bird averaged 24.3 points, 10 rebounds, and 6.3 assists for his career. He could do everything on a basketball court. The Celtics won championships in 1981, 1984, and 1986 with Bird. He was Finals MVP twice and should have been 3 times. Bird's trash talk is legendary. He'd tell defenders exactly where he was going to shoot from, then hit the shot anyway. His rivalry with Magic Johnson defined the 1980s NBA. Every Celtics-Lakers finals was must-watch television. Back problems ended Bird's career early. He retired at 35 after playing in constant pain for years. We lost 5 more years of Bird dominating basketball. That's the tragedy of his career. But even with a shortened career, Bird's impact is undeniable. He made the Celtics dynasty, defeated Magic repeatedly, and proved that skill beats athleticism. Bird proved that basketball IQ, shooting, and competitiveness matter more than physical gifts. He wasn't the most athletic, he was the most skilled. However, being the most skilled for 1 decade is impressive. Being the most skilled and athletic for 2 decades while winning constantly, that's our final 2 legends. Number 2, LeBron James, the most complete basketball player in NBA history. 4 NBA championships, 4 Finals MVP awards, 4 regular season MVP awards, 20 All-Star selections. 40,474 career points, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, 11,185 rebounds, 11,009 assists, the only player in history to have over 40,000 points, 11,000 rebounds, and 11,000 assists. LeBron made 10 NBA Finals in 11 years from 2011 to 2021. He carried teams to championships in Miami, Cleveland, and Los Angeles. The 2016 championship with Cleveland is the most impressive. Down 3-1 to the 73-win Warriors, LeBron led the greatest comeback in Finals history. LeBron in year 22 is still averaging 25 points per game. The longevity is unprecedented. He's playing alongside his son Bronny right now. The argument against LeBron is the 4-6 Finals record. 10 Finals appearances, but only 4 wins look disappointing to some. But making 10 Finals in a more competitive era than Jordan is actually more impressive. The East in the 2010s was brutal. LeBron proved that complete basketball scoring, rebounding, passing, defending, and leading sustained greatness for 2 decades. His legacy is still being written. At 40 years old, he's still elite, but there's one player who stands above even LeBron James. Number 1, Michael Jordan. His airness. The greatest basketball player of all time, the GOAT. 6 NBA championships, 6 Finals MVP awards, 5 regular season MVP awards, 14 All-Star selections. Jordan never lost in the finals. 6-0, perfect. He won 3 championships from 1991 to 1993, retired to play baseball, then came back and won 3 more from 1996 to 1998. Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game for his career, the highest in NBA history. He led the league in scoring 10 times. 5 MVP awards, 10 scoring titles, 9 all-defensive first teams, Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan did everything at the highest level. He scored, defended, competed, and won. The flu game, the shrug game, the last shot against Utah. Jordan created iconic moments that define basketball. But beyond those moments and statistics, Jordan changed basketball culturally. He made the NBA global. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Air Jordans became the most successful sneaker line ever. Jordan brand is worth billions. He transcended basketball and became a cultural icon. The argument against Jordan is that he played in a weaker era or that LeBron's longevity matters more. But those arguments fall apart under scrutiny. Jordan destroyed every opponent he faced. He never lost in the finals. He retired in his prime twice and still won 6 championships. The Bulls won 0 championships before Jordan. They won 0 after Jordan. Everything revolved around him. Jordan's killer instinct is what separates him from LeBron. LeBron is more complete, more versatile, more durable, but Jordan was more ruthless. When the game was on the line, Jordan took over and refused to lose. That mentality is what defines the greatest player ever. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 30.1 points per game, 6-0 in the finals. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. No debate. The GOAT debate. Why is Jordan still number 1 over LeBron when LeBron has better stats and more longevity? It comes down to the finals record and the cultural impact. Jordan went 6-0 in the finals. LeBron is 4-6. Jordan never lost when it mattered most. LeBron lost 6 times. The argument for LeBron is that making 10 finals is harder than making 6. That's true. The competition in the 2010s was tougher than in the 90s, but losing in the finals hurts more than not making it at all. Jordan's perfect record matters. Jordan's cultural impact also separates him. He made basketball global. He created a brand that transcends sports. LeBron is more complete as a basketball player. He's a better passer, rebounder, and playmaker. He played longer and accumulated better career totals. But when you close your eyes and think greatest basketball player ever, the answer is still Michael Jordan. The sneakers, the tongue is out, the game winners, the shrug, the flu game. Jordan is basketball. LeBron could pass Jordan eventually if he wins another championship or plays elite basketball into his mid-40s. But right now, Jordan remains number 1. The rest of the top 10. Russell has the most championships, but played in a different era. Bird and Magic defined the 80s. Kareem has the longevity and MVPs. Wilt has the untouchable statistics. Duncan has the quiet excellence and 5 rings. Shaq has pure dominance. Kobe has the Mamba mentality and 5 rings. Every player on this list is a legend. Every one of them changed basketball. Every one of them deserves respect. But Jordan stands above them all. Why these 10? Why these 10 players over everyone else? Because they combined championships, individual excellence, and cultural impact in ways nobody else did. Kevin Durant has 2 championships, but both came after joining a 73-win team. That diminishes his legacy. Steph Curry revolutionized basketball with 3-point shooting and has 4 championships. He's knocking on the door, but needs more individual accolades. Hakeem Olajuwon won 2 championships and was incredible, but didn't sustain excellence like Duncan or Kareem. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for a season, but only won 1 championship. Jerry West is the NBA logo, but he only won 1 championship despite 9 finals appearances. These 10 players we chose have the best combination of championships, MVPs, longevity, and impact. They defined their eras. They changed how basketball is played. They created legacies that transcend statistics. Bill Russell proved that winning matters most. Wilt Chamberlain proved that individual dominance can be historic. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar proved that longevity creates unbreakable records. Larry Bird proved that skill beats athleticism. Magic Johnson proved that size doesn't limit position. Tim Duncan proved that consistency wins championships. Shaq proved that physical dominance is unstoppable. Kobe proved that dedication turns talent into greatness. LeBron proved that complete basketball sustains excellence for decades. Jordan proved that killer instinct makes you the GOAT. the evolution of greatness. Looking at this list shows how basketball has evolved. Russell and Wilt played when the game was dominated by centers and physicality. Kareem bridged the gap between old school centers and modern basketball. Magic and Bird made the game about skill, passing, and entertainment. Jordan combined athleticism, skill, and mental toughness into the perfect player. Shaq brought back physical dominance in the modern era. Duncan and Kobe proved that fundamentals and work ethic still win. LeBron showed that complete versatility sustains greatness longer than specialization. The game keeps evolving. In 20 years, we might have players doing things we can't imagine now. But these 10 set the standard. They're the measuring stick for every player who comes after. When someone new emerges as a potential all-time great, we compare them to these legends. That's the ultimate compliment, being the standard that defines greatness. These 10 players represent the absolute peak of basketball greatness. They won championships, broke records, and changed how the game is played. Debates about rankings will never end. Someone will always argue their guy should be higher or someone got snubbed. That's what makes these conversations great. There's no perfect answer. But if you're starting a franchise and need one player in their prime, you can't go wrong with any one on this list. From Russell's winning, to Wilt's dominance, to Kareem's longevity, to Magic and Bird's rivalry, to Jordan's perfection, to LeBron's completeness. These players defined excellence. Thanks for watching this journey through basketball history. Hit subscribe if you want more content celebrating the legends who made the NBA the greatest league in sports. And remember, we're watching the next generation of greats right now. Enjoy it while it lasts, because greatness like this doesn't come around often.